Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluent our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back. This is, as you already know, this is Benji D, welcoming everyone who's going to tune in and share with your friends, tell others that we are live on the Benji D Corner, and we have some great guests for you this evening. It's a pleasure to be back. And for those of you who took time and share and you've been viewing, I really, truly appreciate it. And for a brand new show that's just starting out, I like the feedback. My daughter told me, Mommy, that's not bad. You're just starting out and people are watching daily. I truly, truly appreciate it. It's a Benji D. She said she loves the shirt. Thank you, honey. She said she loved the shirt. You imagine. Don't make me shy, okay? You should be sleeping soon. Thank you, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be back with you on the corner. Special hello to my young fans, Jalisha, Dayel, and Jordan. Good evening, guys. Tonight, we are going to have a great show for you tonight. We are still in celebration mode for Black History Month, and we are honoring some of our high achievers. And tonight, we have two great scholars for you as a guest on the Benji D Corner. And we want to thank everyone. We want to thank our whole team, Natasha with Let's Bus Talk, who make us look good and really take us and guide us the proper way to do all this. Trevor, my technician, and also Lois, and all those that are very highly supportive of this great program. I really thank you and for everything you have been doing and making this a great show possible. Our sponsors, Lyle B. Masnikoff and Associate, Law Office of Lyle B. Masnikoff and Associate, Beanie's Lemonade, Crystal Event Hall for all your events. Check them out. My great producer, Alan Duffness, my backer of 4 Diaspo TV and also WPBR 1340 AM, and my colleague, Jean-Ernst Pierre, Le Grand Parisien Salvant, Philemon Disti, Sexy K. There's so many of them, guys. Hello to you guys. It's a pleasure to be back. Tonight, we will have our guest, Professor, Writer, Scholar, Eddy Saint Paul, who's going to be with us. He's a professor of sociology at Brooklyn College, New York City, CUNY, City University of New York. He's going to be with us and really share most other colleagues of mine will say, he looks so young. He looks so young, but he has accomplished so much. You're going to be amazed. He's also the founder and director of Haitian Studies Institute in City University of New York and Brooklyn College. He studied in Colombia and Mexico. There's much more to share about him. I'll give him the opportunity to really share with you this great path that he's had as an immigrant who has immigrated to different part of the world, fluent in 4 languages, English, French, Spanish, and Creole. And we also have our great friend, Philippe Augustin, Phil, who's going to be with us, the independent thinker, scholar, political pundit, and also my encyclopedia, my to-go-to for tons of information that I love to share with the audience. He's going to talk about the state of Black in America, certain issues, and also the progress that Blacks have made so far in the U.S. A great educator, Professor Dr. Eddy Saint Paul, who's going to join us later. It is a pleasure to be with you. I am really excited. I'm always excited to share this time with you all, tell the others that we are on, and you are able to spend a great time with great talk, great conversation, great vibe, great knowledge, and many that has accomplished great endeavors and great accomplishment in their lifetime. This is the Benji D Corner on YouTube channel, Benji D Corner. Keep on subscribing to our channel. We'll really appreciate it. Share with your friends, share with your families, and that will increase our numbers. Tonight, some great thoughts for you tonight. We would like to say patience, patience. They always say with patience, you can accomplish all things. With patience, everything can go how you expected because you take the time, you become so resilient, and you are patient. The quote I'd like to share with you, it's from St. Francis de Sales. It's have patience with all things, but first of all, with yourself. When you have patience with yourself, that really give you time to get where you want to get and make your dream come true. There are times that it gets really extremely tough, but don't be so hard on yourself. Be patient. It's one day at a time. One day at a time, you will get to the finish line. Be patient. Patient is great. You cannot go wrong when you are patient. There's so much we can accomplish when we are patient. We take the time. We go around the corner, we stay in the corner, we go around and around, and we make the curve, we come back, we stop, we go, and we come back again. It takes patience, lots of patience. I remember my mom always told me, well, if you use a lot of humility, when you have patience, you become even more humble. Humility will help you out a great deal. That's why throughout time, I've done my best to remain humble and be patient with those around you, and give time and take time, and eventually you will see the outcome of what patience can do in your life. That was my great thought for you tonight. I must say, getting this accomplished at some point, it took so long, it took so many months, but I was patient because eventually I know I will pull it through. And tonight, my guest is really a super guest, and I couldn't be happier, especially my great friend is going to have a chance later on to share this platform with him this evening with you, those of you that are tuning in. A special shout out to Mommy Solange, who's in New York, Long Island, who's watching. Thank you for watching. And also Tanisha, who's in South Korea, and those that are in Haiti who watch the program, and those who are in Canada as well. I'm always excited. I'm always happy knowing that you are tuning in and knowing that you take the time and view and stream with us on YouTube channel, Benji D Corner. Thank you so much. I thank you. And it's always a great pleasure to be with you every evening, every Thursday, 9:15. Tell your friends, tell others that we are on every night, and continue to share our content and send us your suggestion. We'll really be glad to continue serving you. We have been doing this for quite some time, but like I always say, this is new territory on social media. And so far we are enjoying it, and we are doing the best we can. And with the team, we cannot go wrong with Lois, Natasha, and also Trevor, and all the others that are really putting a hand. I must say, this great voice that you're in the background, turn to Benji D Corner. That's the only Toussaint of the group La Colle. And many times we don't acknowledge him. We must say that tonight. Thank you for tuning in. In just a few minutes, we are going to welcome our guest. We're just going to sip some tea, what I did tonight, because sometimes I get the cremas and sometimes I get the tea that's made by my adopted mommy, Anne Luben. She made the tea for me. That's ginger tea, you know. We like to keep it at home at the same time. That's our special drink that we like to drink a lot. Growing up, I remember back home at night, especially if you have a little fever, you want to have some ginger tea. I don't have a fever tonight. I just like to have my ginger tea. It's really good to have it. Especially when mommy makes it. I know she's probably smiling right now. She didn't think I would be showcasing her special ginger tea that she makes for me. It's really great to be back with you this evening. We know that without our sponsors, this program, this podcast would not have been possible. We want to thank Lauby Masnikoff and Associate, Beanie's Lemonade, Crystal Eve et al., and also Lucy Graphic for all your website. You want to get some website made at a very good price, and also OMG BBs for all your baby outfit at a very low price. Do you need a notary public? Legalish can notarize your document from wherever you are. It's done remotely. Doesn't matter where you are. You need some notary done. It's late at night, and you have something that you must take care of right away, anytime. Just go on the page on IG, legalish.nsa, that will do it, and they will take good care of you. It is great. It is great to be back. Hi again to my lovely daughter, Sydney. Sydney, thank you for watching. She motivates me. She keeps me going, and I do my best to be as patient as possible. We are going to take a quick moment because we're going to be welcoming. We see our guest in the background, very punctual, on time, Dr. Saint Paul, Professor Jean-Eddy Saint Paul, who is going to be with us this evening. Stay tuned. Don't go away, and tell the others to tune in on Benji D Corner so we can have a great conversation with him. He's not so much, there's so much more he has done. He has written his latest book, Between Two Worlds. But tonight, we really want to hear more about the path that he has taken to accomplish such endeavor in several places. Highly respected public servant educator who has really made an impact in this U.S. education system. It's really a pleasure. It's great to have him. I'm beyond the R's, I must say. Just bear with us. In just a moment, we will welcome him on the Benji D Corner. Stay tuned.
Turn to Benji's Corner.
Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluence our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Turn to the corner, and we are not going to take time. Professor, it is great to have you. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I can see you. Can you hear me, Professor?
Yeah, definitely. But you know what? I think I have to, because this is my one glasses, I have to change my glasses. Okay?
Not a problem.
Okay.
Change your glasses.
Okay, yeah.
Not a problem at all. This is great. You are tuning in. You are with Benji D Corner, and we are with Professor Jean-Eddy Saint Paul. He wanted to change his glasses. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to change his glasses. Just be patient with us. We were just talking about patient. Can you hear me perfectly, Professor?
Yeah, definitely. And you?
I didn't have a chance. It's a little blurry here. Okay, it's a little blurry. It's a little blurry on your end. It's a little blurry. Okay, now it's good. The image is good now. Yeah, image is good now. How are you?
Okay, let me see. And now?
A little better. Yeah, it's clear. Yes, now it's clear.
Okay, cool.
Now it's clear.
Yes, I'm fine.
It's such an honor.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, perfect.
I can hear you very well, Professor. I must say I didn't have a chance to say, do I go by Professor or do I go by Dr. Jean-Eddy Saint Paul? I wasn't sure which one you would prefer.
It depends. My friends, they call me when I'm not in an academic space, they call me Eddy. Eddy. Okay. So, but my student in Haiti, they used to call me Professor Eddy in Haiti. So
tonight I'll mix the two.
Me,
We're having some
yeah,
feedback.
in Mexico they used to call me in Mexico they used to call me Doctor Eddy, but in the US they call me Professor Saint Paul.
Professor Saint Paul. Well, I like the Professor Saint Paul. So I'll probably mix the two from time to time.
Yeah,
But
no problem.
it's such a great pleasure, and I appreciate the fact that you make the time with this busy schedule and to come on our platform. We are so honored, and we are beyond the awe in having you in your caliber on Benji D Corner. And I know the audience is very glad to see you, and we get an opportunity to know much more about you beside this long resume that I didn't even finish. But what I want to start first is you look very young, Professor, with so much.
Thank you. Thank you, but I'm not that much.
You are a young man, I must say, Professor, and with the resume with such so much accomplishment. And
Yeah, but you know that yeah, they say la jeunesse est un état d'esprit. Being young is a spirit of mind. So that's why.
that's good. That's good. I think because you also keep the smile, so that makes a difference. Yeah. Your students must love you. Are you a tough? Are you a tough professor?
It's depend. It's depend. In the classroom, I'm not that tough, but in my teaching, I am just like a serious. I am just a committed professor. So maybe not tough, but I'm very committed and engaged with my student.
Okay, well, with your tenure, I can understand. Well, Professor, take me back to young Professor Eddy Saint Paul growing up.
Okay. So first and foremost, allow me, Benji, to acknowledge and thank you for the invitation. It's my first time to be on the corner with you on the Benji D corner. So I want first to congratulate you and to encourage you to continue this great work that you are doing as someone of Haitian heritage, a Haitian American. So you are doing this is part of the patrimony of Haitian people. So I quite appreciate that. So thank you so much for having me this evening with you.
It is my pleasure, Professor, because there's so many of you out there that I love to showcase so much to the community, because we so much are exposed to a lot of much more of the negativity and what's not positive, and we don't hear much more of our scholars in higher education and different Haitians in different background and different aspect in what they do. And I think it's important that we bring them out of the light, like yourself, not just to stay in the classroom and we see these books on Amazon and we're like, who's this? But we want to know more about an individual like yourself. And that's why it's for me, it's more than a pleasure to have you in this platform. I know they'll have a lot much more of you because you have so much to share with my audience, because there's so much topics to tackle from so many great books you have written. But it didn't start. It started from the little boy growing up back home. I'd like them to see the other side of the professor, not the seriousness professor who's in class and teaching.
Okay. So is a long story, but let's try to make it short. So the story starts on November 4th in Torbec. So I'm a Scorpio, so I was born a Wednesday in the morning, you know, in the morning de la matinée. So of November 4th on Torbec. Torbec is a county or city in the sub-department Les Cayes. So, and Torbec also is known as the city or the city of Bois-Tonnerre. And Bois-Tonnerre was one who wrote the deed of the independence of 1804, or the act of independence of 1804. So yeah, this is the place I was born. I attend elementary school at my time they called that l'école primaire. So I attend elementary school at a private institution, San Francis of Assisi, Saint Francois d'Assise, and upon the completion of my elementary school, my parents sent me to Port-au-Prince to continue with, my middle school and high school. So I studied at Lycée Jean-Jacques Dessalines, is a public school in Port-au-Prince. And after that, I went, to competition. So I went to Faculté des Sciences Humaines, Faculty of Human Sciences, one of the faculty of the State University of Haiti. And since in Haiti we don't have as the US, or you are majoring in biology or chemistry or physics, and you have a minor. So in Haiti we don't have that minor major. But let's say I major in social science, in social work. But if it was in the US, I would say that I have a double major, like a major in social work, other major in sociology, and a minor in psychology. But in Haiti, we don't have that division, major, minor. But at the time I was studying my undergrad, I also studied library science, and a job was offered to me as a librarian. So, and I worked first as a librarian for 1 year, and after 1 year, they promote me as the director of the library at the Faculté des Sciences Humaines, Faculty of Human Sciences at the State University of Haiti. So
you become a librarian, Professor.
Yes.
Is that why you developed this love for books so much?
So I think the love for book actually is preceded my career as a librarian, because I recall it was in 1982 or 1983. We have a hurricane in Haiti, because the south of Haiti, Lekai, is you have a lot of hurricane. And I experienced a hurricane. It was hurricane, I think, I don't recall exactly the name. Maybe, I don't recall the name of the hurricane, but it was a hurricane. And I recall that I said I grabbed, my bag with my books, and my dad told me, why did you grab your book? But at that time I was a student in elementary school, right? So, and I said to my dad, if I
I'm not receiving you well, Professor. The image is a little bit blurry. I'm not receiving you well.
Okay. And now?
Static. It's a little bit blurry. Your face is blurry.
Oh. You know what we can do? Let me change. I can change the setting.
That sounds good. Okay, now it's good. Now it's
okay.
good.
Okay. So yeah. So yes. Okay. So my dad told me. I told to my dad, if I would die tonight, I will die with my books. So I think it's naturally I have a love for books, a love for studies, because one of the things during the time I was growing up in Haiti, parents, despite the fact they weren't great intellectual, but they told us, we were told at home, that education was the pathway in order to become someone in life. Yeah, so we were told that education is the pathway to become someone in life. So that's why I embrace education since a very early age. Hello, Benji. Hello, Benji.
Yes, Professor, I'm still here. Do you see me now?
Yes,
Hello?
yes. It seems that yeah, because I lost you. I
No,
lost
I
you
was
for a
still
moment.
No, I was still there in the
Okay.
background. I just removed my
Okay.
image. Uh,
Okay.
I visited Lekai at a very young age back home, Saint François d'Assise, when I was chez les sœurs. I did
Top
go.
Béraud, yes, Béraud.
Yes, it was really nice. And
Do you know Lekai? You were from Lekai too, no?
I'm from Port-au-Prince, but
Okay.
I did visit Lekai at a very young age, and I went to Talbec with the
Okay.
nuns, and we went there for a
Okay.
few days around the summer. And my favorite part of this trip was the fact that I slept on the mat.
Okay. Yes.
It was the first time.
Yes. It's
We
very
had hot chocolate, so I slept on the mat with everybody,
yes.
all the
Yes.
girls, and we all slept there, and we met the boys, and at night we would say great stories, and it was a great experience for me. That was the first time that I went. So anytime somebody say Talbec, I'm like, I know, and it was beautiful.
Yes, it's a very, very nice place.
This is great, and I'm glad that's exactly where you grew up, and it was
Yes.
it's good. So
Yes,
so
but
go ahead.
yes. So, but after why at the time I was studying after completing my undergrad studies in social work at the State University of Haiti. You know, in Haiti, you have to write a thesis in order to graduate Haiti.
You gotta
So
get your honor.
yes, we call that a mémoire de sortie. It's a thesis, undergrad thesis, right? So, but those theses usually in the US or in Canada, so they are asking students in grad studies, students in master degree to do that. But we had to do that in undergrad in Haiti. So I was the first of my generation to write my thesis, and after that, 3 months after, the public defense of my thesis, I participated in an international competition, and I got a scholarship, a full scholarship from the OAS, the Organization of American States in Washington, D.C., and they sent me to Bogota, Colombia, and with everything, paid, I studied a master's degree in Latin American studies at a Jesuit university in Bogota. The name of the university is Pontificia Universidad Javeriana in Bogota, Colombia. Then, after 18 months after my master's, I went back to Haiti, where I start working as an adjunct professor in 2001. And in 2003, I applied and got another scholarship, and I went to Mexico, and I studied my PhD in social science with specialization in sociology at El Colegio de Mexico. But I was about to present my PhD dissertation one day where they offered me a position of associate research at the Center of International Studies at El Colegio de Mexico. And that venture,
you're coming in and out. I'm not sure. Is it your connection? It could be your connection because you're coming in and out. Everyone, bear with me. The signal. I think it depends on which position you're at. Sometimes I can hear you. Sometimes I don't.
Okay, maybe
this is what we're gonna do.
If you want, I can go close to the router.
Yeah, let's do it this way. I'm gonna go ahead and have you come back on. Come back on again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, come back on. We're having some difficulty tonight. Hello to Nick, my ex. It's a pleasure that you are watching. Thank you for watching, Nick. And um, we are having some difficulty tonight, technical difficulty with the professor. He's gonna come right back on so we could have a better signal, better reception in studio. Could be his connection where he is. He is up north. We're having some technical difficulty. Just bear with us. I know this is a great conversation and a great mind, as Nick said. Truly great mind. And what amazes me, he still looks so young and he has done so much in higher education. We need to know about those Haitian American scholars that are hiding somewhere and we don't often hear about on the Benji D Corner. You will hear much more of them. And as you continue watching the Benji D Corner with you, he's coming back in just a moment. He's getting situated to give us a better sound and better connection so we can hear him clearly as he's explaining his path, as we had mentioned to you earlier in the introduction. He'll be sharing his path of how it was for him growing up back home. He talked about the importance of education as the parents taught him the way it was. This is Benji D with you this evening with the Professor Eddy Saint Paul, who's our guest directly from New York, professor in Brooklyn College at the City University of New York, who had also traveled in Mexico, who studied at the university in Mexico. He had mentioned that so far, and also went to Colombia and studied there as well. I think we are receiving the professor. I think now it's much better, Professor. Go ahead.
Okay.
Much better.
So yes. Okay. Because I have yes at home.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Much
At home I have two studio. So so this studio is closer to the router of the internet. So I think now it should work better.
It should work now. Okay.
So let me see. Okay.
I think you were talking about when you had the scholarship from the OAS and you went to Colombia. From Colombia, you went back to Haiti. How was it like for you when you went to Colombia, but you did not speak Spanish? How were you?
No, yes, actually I did.
Coming from Haiti?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because when I was in high school, I had Spanish, English, Spanish, Greek, and Latin. So, and I was very good in Spanish. And my Spanish teacher, we call him Met Lionel Sanon. But I was very short when I was a young boy. So it was.
So you're not short anymore.
No, not that short, but I'm not that tall. So, yes, but it was when I was about to complete high school. So I grew up. But at the Lycée Jean-Jacques Dessalines, they used to call me Eddy, Lilo Eddy. So, and my professor, my teacher, Lionel Sanon, he told me, Eddy, you are very good in Spanish. So I would advise you to, to work very hard on your Spanish. So I never, give up on Spanish. So when actually to receive that scholarship from the OAS, I had to take a Spanish exam. So I took that exam at El Instituto at the Centro Pechon Bolivar in Pechonville. So, and I obtained, like A for that exam. So without Spanish, I couldn't obtain that scholarship from the OAS. Yes, my Spanish was not, it's different when you speak Spanish in Haiti and when live in a country where people are speaking Spanish on a daily basis,
Practicing the
Yeah, even though I knew Spanish, but it took me at least 2 months to get accustomed with the fluency in, the Spanish that Colombian people they speak. Actually, in Latin America, there is a certain tradition. They say that Bogota, Colombia, los colombianos, the Colombian people, they are those who speak the best Spanish in Latin America. Yeah, so and their Spanish is very tough. So yeah.
I have some Colombian viewers. I have to say hello to Bridget Valbuena. She's from Colombia. That's
Yeah, I studied at it is very Ivy League college. I study university in Colombia because in Colombia, among the best school beside the La Universidad Nacional de Colombia, I studied also at the Universidad Nacional de Colombia. This is another story, but my main institution was Pontificia Universidad Javeriana. So it is a private Jesuit university and among the best university in the country. The Pontificia Universidad Javeriana, La Universidad Los Andes, the University of Los Andes, and El Externado, and the Universidad Externado are among the best schools in Bogota, Colombia.
Well, my good friend Bridget Valbuena, who's watching, she's an attorney from Colombia as well. She studied in Colombia. She studied law in Colombia. She's from Colombia. And she must go to the universities that you're talking about. So when you went back to Haiti, and what have you done when you went back to Haiti from Colombia and worked there?
Okay, when I went back, since my master's degree was in Latin American studies, so I taught political history of Latin America to undergrad students in majoring in sociology. Yeah, and also since my major in Haiti was in social work, so I taught a class called La Sécurité Sociale. It's like a social policy to undergrad students in social work. And I continued at that time as the director of the library. So it was part-time working
to the director.
Yes, because I was I was promoted as the director of the library since 1994. So 1995. So when I actually got that scholarship to go to Colombia, I was the director of the library for 6 years.
Great. Now from Colombia, from Haiti, then you end up going to Mexico.
Yes.
How was the path from Haiti to Mexico when you get the scholarship again? And I know you did.
Yes, actually, after when I returned to Haiti, my main goal was to stay in Haiti, to work for the country, to work for my people, and to contribute to elevate the level of education, to contribute to the development of Haiti. But I came back to Haiti. It was December 17 or December 19, 2001. It was 2 days after the country actually experienced a very tough political turmoil. It was the presidency of Jean-Bertrand Aristide, and Jean-Bertrand Aristide faced a very tough political opposition back in 2001. So I lived there between 2001 and 2003. The country was very shaky politically. It was a lot of political turmoil, political instability in Haiti. So, and that's why I decided to apply for a scholarship to study my PhD. Actually, it was the political instability of Haiti in between 2001 and 2002 that really motivated me to go and study my PhD, because my goal was to spend, some 4 and 5 years after my master before starting my PhD. But it was the political instability that really motivated me to say, there are a lot of uncertainty here. So let's continue to study, you know, in waiting for the country to be better, in a better shape.
Was that your way of trying to understand better the sense of that instability that was going on, the chaotic situation in Haiti?
Yes and no. Actually, it was also a bad experience when I returned to Haiti, because before going to Bogota for my master's, since I was an employee of the state, because I was, you know, the director of a library, and the library is part of the State University of the Haiti, and the State University of Haiti is a public institution. So the dean, the president of the university, we call that him rector, because the rector of the university, they signed a contract with me, and in that the contract said that upon the completion of my master degree, when I return to Haiti, they will hire me as a full-time, you know, tenure track faculty when I return. So I was, you know, I hold my master degree. So, and they never, you know, hired me as a full-time
So they didn't keep their word.
tenure track. But at the same time, I saw people who just have only undergrad degree, you know, they were hired. It was what we call moonpa. It was, you know, when who you know.
It's like a
So, and
parent. You didn't have a parent.
yes. So yes, so
Godfather.
and I said, you know, in this country is a promotion of mediocrity. So, and I don't want to, you know, waste my time. Actually, it was that political culture of corruption that really, you know, pushed me to
Yeah.
start early my PhD degree in sociology.
To understand better. Wow.
Yes, yes,
So
and
now,
I choose Colombia, Mexico. It's because when I was in the master's program in Bogota, I wrote many essays on political culture of Haiti, because my was in Latin American studies, but I studied with students in master's degree in political studies, because the program, the master's degree in political and Latin American studies, belong to a school of political science and international relations. So I recall in one of my class, I turned a final paper on the political culture of Mexico. I did another paper on the scope, you know, of the Mexican Revolution. So, despite the fact I never traveled to Mexico, you know, before I start studying there, but Mexico was a country that,
fascinated, right?
yes, I knew intellectually. That's why also I said, oh, and also Mexico, social sciences in Mexico, they are very, they embrace, you know, critical thinking. So, and I was looking for, you know, a PhD that will help me to better understand politics, not only in Haiti, politics, society, and culture, not only in Haiti, but also in Latin America, who are very country that actually have a lot of, you know, similarities with Haiti.
When you were in Mexico, you created a different program in the university in Mexico. Talk a little bit about those few programs.
Okay, yes. So I started in Mexico not as a full-time faculty. The first university that invited me to teach in Mexico was La Universidad La Salle. It's like La Salle University is also a Catholic university. So they invited me to teach, you know, research method for master student in education. So, but after that, my performance was so good. Another friends who had connection to a PhD program in another Jesuit university, La Universidad Iberoamericana. They invited me to teach comparative politics to PhD students in social science and political science. So, and based on my performance again, after teaching comparative politics, in Spanish we call that política comparada. So, and at the same Universidad Iberoamericana, they invited me, all those invitations as visiting faculty, visiting adjunct visiting faculty. I taught political theory to master student in sociology. It was between 2007 and 2008 and 2009, because I presented my PhD in 2008. So, but I taught from 2008 and 2009, as adjunct visiting professor. But at the end of 2009, 2 months before the 2010 earthquake, I was informed about a university in Mexico, Universidad Guanajuato, that was about to create a lot of programs, and they need faculty to create those programs. A friend of mine, knowing, my field of research and teaching, he told me that, Eddy, you have the intellectual profile. I am quite sure that if you apply for a position, you will obtain that position. Effectively, I followed his advice. I applied at the Universidad Guanajuato, because Guanajuato is in the midst, it's like, we call that Centro Occidente. It's like in the center of Mexico, west center of Mexico. So, but Guanajuato is a very conservative state, but is a state in which they wanted to create political science. And the University of Guanajuato, La Universidad de Guanajuato, didn't have political science. So, and the dean of the School of Law, because it was a faculty, a college, a School of Law, so the dean of the School of Law, who was responsible to create that program, so he hired 6 faculty, and among those faculty was me. So, and our mission, our job was to create an undergrad program in political science. So I was part of that cohort of faculty who created in 2010, between 2010 and 2011, the undergrad program in political science. 2 years after, my team and I, we created at the Universidad de Guanajuato a master's program in political analysis. And 4 years after, between 2014 and 2015, we create a PhD program in law, politics, and government. And that's actually my own professional development. All those programs I co-created at in Mexico was at the Universidad de Guanajuato in Guanajuato, Mexico. And Guanajuato, by the way, is a very small and beautiful place to live, very quiet and very beautiful place. So that I really enjoy living there and teaching there and working for the Universidad of Guanajuato.
Professor, you spent so many years in the books. Was there any time for family?
Oh yes, I have family. I have my wife and I. So I think we are in this adventure for 21 years now. So we met. Thank you. We met at the State University of Haiti. So she majored in social communication at the State University of Haiti. So, but when actually I had to leave Haiti, so she moved to the US. So she was studying in the US, working in the US, while I was studying in Mexico. and we, it was like we say in Spanish, reunificación.
Unification of
We reunited in 2010 to live together when I got that, tenure position at the University of Guanajuato. And we had our first kid in 2000 and October 2010. Now we have two kids. So
Two
I have
boys?
two boys, 10 and 8. So when we are all living together in New York, yeah. Yes, so I have family. Yes, I have
Are the boys constantly in the books like that?
Actually, in one of the books that I published with Sidika in Canada, actually, if you don't have this book, and I'm quite sure that you read French, I wrote this book in French. I can send you a PDF, copy a PDF. So, and I dedicate this book to them, because when I was working on this book, my kids were very, very, babies. So, and sometimes, yeah, it was very hard. But in Mexico also, I have to mention that I was not only a professor working in undergrad and master and PhD program, but also in Mexico, they have a system that they call El Sistema Nacional de Investigación, the national system of scholar or the national system of researcher. And it's like what they call in France, CNRS, le Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique. So I was a scholar, a researcher for the Mexican government. So, and as a scholar, as a member of the national system of researcher, I had to publish a lot. So, and oftentimes it was when my school went to bed, so I had to stay late at night to work. It was very hard, when the kids were very babies, and to continue to assist my wife and to take care of those babies. Yeah, but yeah, now it's easier, easier. It's not that easy, but it's like less difficult, let's say that, because sometimes you are focused. For instance, I am teaching here, right? But before that, I had a very tough administrative position at the City University of New York. But sometimes I'm working on something, and one of my kids, they asked me, Daddy, let's watch a movie tonight. I cannot say no. So I have to make time to watch the movie. But when they go to sleep, so I have to find kinds of some energy to continue to do what I have to do.
Such a long trajectoire, Professor.
Yeah, c'est ça. So that's it. That is.
So now, from all this path from Mexico to Colombia to Haiti and back, then you ended up here in this great position at Brooklyn College as a professor in sociology. I'm going to have my friend Phil, who's in the background, who's going to join after that I'm done with you with our interview. I know I'm going to have him join, and I know he's, I would say he's just he's an encyclopedia. That's my to-go-to.
Okay.
We do a lot of talks about scholars and intellect, and I know he's enjoying this conversation. Phil, you're joined by the professor. How are you, Phil?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Professor?
I'm good, Phil, and nice to virtually meet you, Philippe.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, that's great. Well, Professor, from in Haiti, I'm talking about Brooklyn College. How did you go about getting that position?
Okay, that's a very fascinating story. So, as I said earlier, so I never, study formally in the US. The only time that I came in the US to study, it was in 2011. I just went to West Virginia University just to improve my English. So, but I never studied in the US. But I am a long life member of the Haitian Studies Association. So, and because of my membership to the Haitian Studies Association and my scholarship on Haiti, so I was informed that in 2015 that the City University of New York was about to create a Haitian Studies Institute. So, and I just applied for the position. They never told me how many people applied for that position, but they told me more than 50 persons applied for that position. And the search committee, they picked 4 persons to interview and to present their project. And I was the one that the committee, the provost picked for the job. So, and I moved from Guanajuato to New York just because of that position, but it was in 2016 for the people, the YouTube, the viewer on YouTube who are watching and listening to me. So I am living in New York. Let's say I have less than 5 years living in the US. I came here in 2016, so I never studied in the US. So at the beginning, it was very tough, So if someone come as an old man to deal with academia in the US, but it's also a
That's why I call it the brilliant scholar.
Very important lesson also for the young people, because since different languages, I am in a process, because my English is not like the English of someone who studied here, but when I'm speaking, people can understand what I'm saying, right? So it was actually, I was surprised also, despite the fact that I applied for the position, but I was the one who hopefully got the position. So, and I created the Haitian Studies Institute, and between 2016 and 2020, I can say that I gave a lot of visibility to Haitian studies, not only at the City University of New York, but beyond the City University of New York. Now the Haitian studies like a patrimony. I invited 5 guest scholars. Brooklyn College, where the institute is housed, was founded in 1930, and Brooklyn College is located inside of a very vibrant Caribbean community and Haitian American community. At Brooklyn College, they never had a Haitian art exhibit. So I curate Haitian art exhibit at the Brooklyn College Library, a very nice library, very beautiful library. I did film screening. I invited a lot of, senior scholar, midterm scholar, junior scholar. So we did our exhibit, a lot of things in 4 years. So, but now I'm not the director of the institute. I am in my position as professor of sociology. But this is the story.
Professor, I know we could just stay and just listen to you talking and talking, because it's such great path that you've had. I really want to thank you for the viewers, that they can hear much more about you. I know you will come back again, Professor. There's so much more that we could tackle certain issues, especially at some point when we will discuss politics. I know Phil is in the background. I'm very happy to hear that. And come back again. And we really thank you. Thank you for taking the time and sharing your story. I wanted the audience to hear much more about you for such accomplishment. And you're still young, Professor. Are you still going to do more research? And I know the book, I'd like to read your latest book, Between Two Worlds, Haiti and Africa. I'd like for you to come back and talk about that after I get a chance to read the book. We'll do another show about that. And I know people saying to themselves, with the political instability that's going on right now, it's a little bit chaotic. I know you can share your views about it as well back home. And also for Haitians American here who wants to understand Haiti politics on a different spectrum, with a scholar like you who has the experience and the knowledge. Thank you so much, Professor, for coming.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I have to say also, it has been very great to be with you. And politics is my one of my field of specialization. For instance, my master thesis was on the electoral crisis in Haiti between November 2000 and 2001, and between May 2001 to November 2001. And also, my PhD thesis was on the political culture of elites. So I am an expert of political corruption in Haiti. So it will be a great pleasure to discuss with you. And also, I published on the interconnection between politics and religion in Haiti and in Latin America. In French, we use a concept that is called laïcité. So in Spanish, it's laicidad, but in English, we usually use the concept of secularization. So I am an expert also on secularization, how politics use religion, and how religious leaders also use politics, with the purpose of legitimation. So we can have a conversation about those issues in any next show. But it was very great to be with you this evening.
The pleasure was all mine, Professor, and the audience is really glad to have the opportunity to meet great minds like yourself. Come back again. Have a wonderful night with the family.
You too, and a bonne continuity.
Yes.
So I wish you the best with the continuity of the show. Okay, take care. Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, bye.
My guest was Professor Eddy Saint Paul, scholar, brilliant scholar, writer, professor of sociology in Brooklyn College, City University of New York. And we have in the background Phil, who's going to join us. We are going to quickly put our great spot, a jingle to welcome Phil. That's our next guest for you this evening. We'll be talking about the state of Black in America, some issues. We will discuss about that and also where they are now, the progress that has been made. It's still talking about the whole Black History Month, and we had to present our high achiever, Professor Eddy Saint Paul, from Brooklyn College. We will be back with you on Benji Corner. Just let's listen to our great
Turn to Benji's Corner.
Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluence our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Thank you, everyone, for still staying tuned and tuning with us on the Benji Corner. In the corner this evening, Philippe Augustin, independent thinker, political pundit, and encyclopedia. Phil, it's great to be back with you again. This time,
Thank you for the invitation.
How are you doing?
Life is good. I can't complain. How about you?
Great. I can't complain. Just can you imagine? I have two of the great minds with me. I'm just like beyond the awe of having those high scholar like yourself and the professor on my platform. Philip, we talked.
It's a pleasure to listen to him. That's a great pleasure. Thank you too.
Yes, it's great. He has so much more to share, and I can't wait for him to come back again for many more shows to come as we discuss and get deeper in the issues that are going on in different communities, and especially ours for Haitians American to learn a lot more from an expert like himself. Phil, how is it going?
I'm good.
Phil, you gotta give the smile. Come on.
I'll give you the smile. I'm doing very well.
That's good.
Stay,
We
stay
talk,
safe and stay busy
yes,
during the pandemic.
definitely, definitely. That's what we are doing. We need to stay safe nowadays with everything that's going on. We know, Phil, we are now in 2021. We know it's February. They are celebrating Black History Month. But as you and I talked about it behind closed door, we said, well, we could also focus on the history, but at the same time, we have new achievers like Professor that I brought on so he could discuss his great accomplishment. We have the new ones that have made impact in society. But also, we know the atmosphere has been over the years, for several years now, with a lot of systematic racism that's been going on in the US. We're going to talk a little bit about that now. I know we've done programming together about that, Phil, months. Last year, we talked about that. And what's your thought?
Well, again, to you, this is a great subject, especially in February. But I would like to state that Black History Month is just something every day. We have to go back to 1619, and I will highly recommend the 1619 project by Nicole Hannah Jones from the New York Times. This is an amazing work, amazing project. It's not perfect, but I think that's the way to go. And definitely, you can tell the former administration they want to talking about the 1776 project. So talking about the independence without talking about the 1619 project. And you can see that now there's a lot of state they even thinking not to let the students learn about the history. And then this is very, very sad when you don't know your history. The history of African American is a tough one, but one of the greatest history we can say. Like we can say the same thing about our history. The revolution in Haiti, this is the greatest revolution ever, but most people never want to talk about it. And that's when I will start it. In terms of progress, of course, we do a lot of progress. But I always want people to be careful not to get confused systemic and systematic. Of course, you will find few people, gain whatever we can say because of our ancestor. But when you look at until now, and we don't have to go far, look at what happened in January 6th at the Capitol. When he came to African American is a constant, battle, is a constant, fighting to find equity. Now we're talking about equity, racial equity. And then we also have to keep doing it. How many times we have to keep going to the street and ask for justice, ask for us to have a better life in this great country? How many times, and there's room, for everybody. When you look at the story about African American, if the United States investing in African American, the economy will add another $3 or $4 trillion. But what happened is sometimes he just like how far this country want to go back, and we have to let them know we're not going to let that happen. We have to move forward.
Because slavery has been abolished quite some time.
It's not only I can say slavery has been abolished, but I'm going to say something. is a tough one. Yes, we can say it, but the mental slavery is still there. And this is the worst thing we have to fight. We have to deal because we don't see it. And if we're talking about slavery being abolished, right now, as we speak, there's more people in slavery right now in 2021 when they were slavery 400 years ago.
Because
And
it's
I'm going to
meant.
explain to you why. You have a lot of people coming over here. And that's one of the reasons you can see the system doesn't want to pass immigration. We have people working right now. They not enough money. And people own them. And there's not too many things they can do. You have history where you have young people coming from Nam, Philippines, China to think they can find a better life in the United States. But when they come here, things change. All this thing is slavery. But when we're talking about our own slavery, we want to make sure we're talking about the contribution the African American church contribute for us to be here. The contribution our ancestor fought for us to be here. And that's what I always talking about when you're talking about the Haitian church also. I think they can, let's say, copy what the African American do for us to have a voice. And it's about time also for all of us. I'm talking about our African American. I mean,
Blacks.
all the West Indies to get together because
Yeah.
us is about us.
So to be a
Nobody else.
force, it has to be in unity among all the minorities.
Definitely, we need that unity. That's why I was telling you earlier. There's a difference between systemic and systematic. You got few people make it in life, but the majority of the people, they don't make it. And we're talking about most of the people is in jail. African American men, sometimes they put them in jail just for war against drugs.
Yeah, minor offense.
Not only that, right now, African American men, they are only men who make less money than women. And then that's why it's so tough for them. The fight is not going, and you can see because of COVID-19, you can see the disparity. You can see
The health
the
system.
rich is getting richer and the poor getting poorer. You can see the same thing happen in Texas. You got the COVID-19 and you got a bunch of people, they don't have any place to stay. They're suffering. And then I don't want to be political, I like to get in political. Sometimes while they're suffering, the Senator Ted Cruz went to Cancun. And then this is, I think, we've been doing a lot of work, but I think we have to do more work. I think everybody should be a clone of Stacey Abrams.
Do you think what happened at the Capitol in January, if there were blacks who were doing the riot, the treatment of the police officers would have been different, the reaction and the treatment?
Benji, anybody you ask that question, don't even for that person, it will be yes. Again, that will never happen. And I will go a step further. If you was the Muslim, they won't even put their step, okay,
Marching
at the
on.
door. They will get killed. And you can see that when the Black Lives Matter. You can see the attitude the police have. If you're talking about peacefully, Black Lives Matter. Those people, and then we have to have an investigation like the 9/11 Commission to see exactly what went wrong. Everybody knew those people was going to the Capitol. Donald Trump been talking about that. He's talking about the date when he won them. And then he told him to stand back and stand by. And then look at how many organization was created. We got the Oath Keepers. You have the Patriot Prayers. You have the Bugalo Boys. Now you got the Republican Party, the Abe Lincoln Party. Now become a QAnon Party. So this is what it is. They're not going anywhere. They're going to the same direction. We have to, see where the Republican Party want to go with us. Because right now they're not interested about integration. And I think we have a fight on our hand. And since we have that fight, and we have to be smart enough to go out and vote. We're not talking about voting in the general election only. We have an election is coming in March 9. We need, you, the expert, you know a lot of people who can do that kind of job. They need to go out and look it out for themselves and vote those people. If we don't do that, we're going to spend our life fighting. And we're tired, and we don't want to get tired because we need that. That's the only thing we
What
ask.
else can be
Nothing more.
what else can be done, Phil, in creating that empowerment for blacks, for black communities?
Well, I think that now with the administration, the new administration, you can see a difference. Hopefully, that will materialize. The administration is talking about in 2 days, it will be 4 weeks. Give him time, and I think we have people in place right now. But we're going to need more people. Like I told you, if you don't have any power, you don't have no power. And that's plain and simple. So during the 4 years, you see what Mitch McConnell and all of them they were doing. They were focused
Yeah.
in putting judges.
Phil, you're giving me so much politics tonight.
But since you asked me, I have to give you a little political because politics is involved in everything. So there's nothing we can if you don't have the power.
Okay.
Benji. Me
Argue.
and you we've been talking about that.
Yeah.
We need to have the power. And I don't need to have the power, like I said to you. We need the power, the local power. Because that's important for our children who's going to school. That's important for all of us to make sure our place is safe. It's important for us for education. We need to invest more in our children education.
So you're saying blacks need to be on the table
We
to
need
be policymakers? It's about policies?
say it again.
You saying blacks needs to be on the table to be among the policymakers? That could be more
Definitely. Because if he's not, like I said to you, if he's not, we will not go anywhere. We need to be on the table and discuss what's good for us. If we cannot discuss what good, we cannot let other people tell us all the time what's good for us. We have to be there to decide what is good. And to start it like I mentioned, if what I'm waiting for this administration, you have a lot of black people in jail and also like for just marijuana. All those people should be out. They should be purged. They should be able to get a job without asking them if they ever get arrested. All these things should be eliminated. And then when those people act, they cannot find a job. So what happened? So they're doing, things for them to survive. And guess what? They go back to jail. And then it's a business.
But beside
jail or prison should never be a business.
Besides the jail system, like I was watching, there's this three brothers. They're like brothers. They're like good friends, and they went to the jail system and they created something positive where they own they own several restaurants where they're distributing food, special food that they make themselves. what other way can minorities turn around by getting themselves out of that kind of system where more progress can be made?
You know, the best thing is for the government to help them. In other words, for them to get finance, for them to open their own business. I think the country own them that, because that's the best way. And then if they start, like you just said, they open a restaurant, even a lot of restaurants open owned by, minority, which is good, but we need to open more business. And then we need to make sure when there's a contract from the government, we should be able to get a contract also. That will help a lot of people. A lot of Black folks, since we're talking about Black History Month, most of the thing was created by Black folks. We built this country. Our ancestors built this country. After we finish build this country,
how do we benefit from what was built?
we never benefit from it. That's it. That's the issue. We never benefit from it. No. After we finish build, even Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson, they want to send the African American back. They cannot be a living between white and black. Black people have to fought for that also. That's why they changed the 14th Amendment.
Several research have been done so far that some of the loans that are available, quite a group of minorities did not have access to those loans to start up their business.
Definitely. Look at our farmers, our Black farmers. It takes 30 days for the white farmers to get the money. It takes for a year or years for them to wait to get some money. And that's why, you can see every year the Black just like is non-existent. The Black business almost is not, because the reason they don't want to give the Black, to invest in Black, they think the Black will be free. The white folks doesn't want any competition. And if anybody want to read a good book, White Rage, this is where to start it. And you can see the, nice African American talking about the white rage. Because soon as we have that power, we will excel. There's no two ways about it. You can see Black people excel on almost everything they try. We're not talking about sport. I'm talking about intellectually. Look at one of my favorite gentlemen, Howard Tubman. He was one of the greatest guy. After Martin Luther King read his book, everybody was always talking about Gandhi. But when Martin Luther King read his book, and then he changed the way he to go. And like I mentioned to you, if you ask for the African American church, we won't have Martin Luther King. If you ask for Howard Tubman, who went to Boston University, and then talking about what Blacks been going through. And one of the beautiful books he wrote, he just like Jesus for the Inherited. It's a short book, and I will, highly recommend this book for everybody to read. Those old books, you learn a lot from them.
How do we get away from
them? Sometimes.
How do we get away?
Sometimes.
Yes, go ahead.
How can we get away with?
How do we get away from the mental slavery that you talk about and overcome it and turn things around and make progress in spite?
Well, the progress is going to be very difficult. Like I said to you, the mental slavery still exists as we speak. We have to get rid of the mental slavery. Everything is mental, but it came to education. A lot of education, and we as the Black people too, to be more tolerant and to listen to people you don't agree with, because that's the only way you learn. When you're not agree with somebody, you go do your own research. We have to spend time with our children to teach them the African American history. We don't have to emulate anybody else. We are so beautiful and we survive, and we can still survive and make it equal. That's what we can do. And I have great confidence, Benji, that's going to happen sooner than later. Tell you that now. But it's all of us. Like the great job you're doing, invite a lot of people to listen to you, step by step, city by city, town by town, state by state, and then the voice will be gone, and everybody will know it's about time. We cannot wait anymore. We have to be a part of the deal. And I'm glad that now we have a vice president is a part of the deal. We need more of that.
So it's the reunification.
It's all about power.
the
Believe me,
community.
not only education, it's all about power. We need to have more young men and women get involved in politics, run for office. We need to have an organization to train them, to teach them. A lot of bunch of young women master degree, and men. And then that's the only way. There's no other way. You got the education, you get involved in politics, you got the power, and you change things. Because the system over here, they make it so hard, and I'm going to tell you how hard it is. In order for you to become president of the United States, most likely you have to be a governor or a senator. Right now, in 50 states, we don't have a black governor. We have about 3 lieutenant governors, but there's no black governor. Since the Senate was created, you only have 11 senators, including Barack Obama. That's how the system was created. In order to accept Donald Trump, who hijacked the Republican Party to become 45th president, nothing about the government. But if you were black, it's so hard for you. And this is how we have to learn the system. We have to change a lot of things about the system. So to make sure we all have that opportunity to become on the top, especially when you're a black woman, even a white woman, it's so difficult for you to reach that level, but it's more difficult for black women. And we have to support a black woman.
Political and economic development and political power, it's all together where they could reach that level of empowerment and education.
Yes, they are together. But that's what is so hard. I think with COVID-19, we have to change the way we see things in the United States. This is the richest country on this planet. Why we have to fight for everybody to have health care? Why we have to fight for every children in the United States can have 3 meals? Why we have to fight for better school? Why?
So we need a collective.
And you try to move to another place, they make it sometimes so difficult for you to move. It's not easy thing. When you look at, for example, and you can see a lot of black people, for some reason they don't want to take care of them. And that's why we see a lot of crime. But if you create jobs for them, if they go back to school, and the people see, you know what, I'm making a living wage, I can start working $15, $60 an hour. And this is the thing we need to do. The CBO just said, yes, if we give you $15 an hour, we will lose 600,000 jobs. But what the same study, 900,000 people will be out of poverty. So which one you want? You want to be out of poverty and create jobs.
Spreading the wealth. Phil,
That's
I
what
know,
it is.
we can spend all night talking, but we have to end.
Okay. Right now, during the COVID-19, you got the rich make it more than $1 trillion, and they sit on it. The poor is getting poorer. You know, in the economy, everybody was talking the V shape. But the K shape. And the one is up is up. The one is going to the bottom is going to the bottom. We need to stop it and reverse it. It got to be bubble up. It cannot be trickle down anymore because it never works. It got to be bubble up, and you give everybody a chance, an opportunity, and I bet you they will make it.
Equal opportunity for everyone.
Yeah.
Phil, it was a pleasure. I know you're going to come back again. I know you enjoyed this tonight.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. I say I will be here, and I'm here, and I'm going to always be there for you.
Thank you, Phil. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate the time. Thank you for the invitation.
It's always a pleasure for us to share the same platform.
Sam, thank you.
We didn't want to do so much politics, but we know I can have Phil and not talking a little bit politics. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, everything connected. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Phil. Have a wonderful night. Philippe Augustin, our great independent thinker, scholar, political pundit. We know he's so. We know Phil. That's my encyclopedia, my to go to. It was great being with you this evening. We want to thank our sponsors. I'll be Masnikoff, an associate law firm for your work accident and also disability cases. Beanie's Lemonade. If you want some great lemonade with the Creole twist, Beanie's, go on their page on IG. They have the latest discovery of pink lemonade in support of breast cancer awareness, and also Crystal Evenhall for all your events. We want to say hello to Marc Jean-Jacques at Triomphe Banquet Hall and Didi at their place. Good evening, guys. It was really great to be with you. I have to end this for you tonight. Next week, we will have this great couple, more light up story. Next week, this couple that has many years apart of finally having this little babies. You're going to enjoy that conversation next week on The Corner. And also we'll have our great talented artist, spoken word artist, Amorette Lormille Epiphany, who's going to share some great poetry with you, some great writing. And she has a great story coming out of depression and turning it around and getting deep into writing. We'll have that for you next week. Don't forget to check out the book signing. The book is out with JJ Janot, FSU student JJ Janot. Her book, you can order the book, go on her page on IG, JJ Janot, The Other Side of Pain, the author and speaker, where she writes about her journey to success, about mental health and sexuality and much more. Check out her book, go to the page, JJ Janot JJ Janot, JEANOT. This is a superb young lady. We will have her in the next couple of weeks to discuss the latest book that she wrote. She's also a speaker and she has participated in several organizations, Haitian American, who have done really great things at such a very young age. She's already impacting the world and sharing her story with many. The book signing is coming up March. My notes. She'll be here before the book signing. You'll be able to hear a lot more from her. And we have several more guests coming up. The calendar is full, but feel free to contact us, contact BenjiD at gmail.com, or send us a DM on IG, BenjiD Corner, and also on Facebook. You can message us and we'll be glad to answer you and whatever great stories that you have coming up that can really uplift and light and help others. We bring you all the positive stories. We bring you all the positive information. We showcase many talents, many in our minority communities. It's a melting pot, like we said. It's for everyone. We have viewers from all over the world. We have people from Colombia, Mexico, Canada, South Korea, Haiti, all around the world. And we know eventually we will grow and grow. As everyone knows, I'm very patient and I like to grow because I like to look back and say, oh my God, when I started, these were the numbers and look where we are now. We want to thank our publicist, Natasha, for doing a wonderful, great job in really spreading, getting us out there and bringing us out and making the audience understand that we can do this and we are doing it together. Lois and also Trevor, thank you guys. And my great producer, Alan Daphnis of Diaspora TV and WPBR 1340 AM. Thank you guys. And thank you, everyone. It's always great to be with you. Benji D signing off. And I can't leave and not saying thank you, mwah, my little girl who makes all this possible as well, Sydney. And I want to thank my ex-hubby, Daddy. Nick, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for the support. And thank you to my friend Fabi, Sabine Saint Fleur and Jacques Saint Fleur, and also Mommy Solange. Thank you, Mommy Anne Lubin and Papi Lubin, and also cousin Davina and everybody, Jojo, everyone, thank you. It's a family affair. We're all in this together, and I can't do this without you guys. I do all the talk, but behind closed door, I have so many advisors, so many in my circle that help me to pull this through every week for you. Stay tuned. Share our YouTube channel to everyone. Invite your friends and family to subscribe so they could watch much more of our shows coming up. C'est un plaisir d'être avec vous. Toujours, merci tout le monde. Until next time, Benji D signing off. And I like to end most of the time with the great voice of my wonderful producer and Mr. Stanley Toussaint, artist of Groupe La Colle, Benji D Corner. Thank you, everyone.
Turn to Benji's Corner.
Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluent our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Good night, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Until next time, Benji D. Thank you.